Alright, another game to record. Not the most stalwart of competition, but it's one of those games where my opponent gets a ridiculous ramp draw, and I'm able to claw my way back into the game. Things are looking super bleak by turn 3, I think, but you'll see how it unfolds. So I get to go first at least. This stupid-ass buggy replays. Continue to get more buggy with weird symbols all over the place, and my hand's up here for some reason. So at least I'm going first. I have a slow and mediocre draw, but at the same time, 2 land destruction spells to slow things down. He's playing at least dual colors, so I keep it. I can't really make the field any bigger here. And turn 1 Soul Ring, which is a consistent theme with Commander. It seems that roughly 90% of the replays that I have that involve a big comeback involve this one stupid card, and sometimes Mana Crypt, although fewer people play that card for some reason. But everybody can afford Soul Ring because it costs 4 tickets, and drawing it makes your deck about 8 times as effective. So even bad decks can win with Soul Ring, as we've learned. And certainly they can give you a lot of problems. And that's why I run Spell Pierce and Daze and Force of Will and various other things to stop it. None of them are in hand, of course. Graves too. So I'm hoping here he just has a poor mana draw that maybe he's kept because of Soul Ring, so I can slow him down long enough to draw into at least some sort of cheap counter to keep something dangerous out of play. No such luck. Plays Coalition Relic. Threatening 6 mana next turn to my 1. I draw this little bugger right now too, which makes the Strip Mine play look much worse, because I could have power sunk what he did on the next turn for 3. I'm going to condense my hand here a bit so you can see what the hell's going on. Okay, so you're going to love this turn. So we cast this thing, Indomitable Angel. Pretty awesome creature, but pretty ridiculous when you have 3 artifacts in play and Lightning Greaves, because it has Shroud and so does everything else. So I'm on a literal 8-turn clock here, provided I take no other damage from anything else, and my hand is slow as hell and pretty weak. But at least I can slow him down by eating up the Boros Garrison. Slows him down a lot. I play the Apprentice. Attack for 1. Fortunately, that Chromatic Lantern is just another mana artifact instead of something bigger and more dangerous. What is that? 8 turns to live? And I guess I was on a 10-turn clock. This thing's only a 4/4. So I draw a useless Treachery. So now my plan is to basically just sit here and pray. I can slow him down a turn with Cryptic Command eventually, but I've got to draw. I mean, really, I only have 1 out in this deck because I'm playing mono blue and I don't have Vandal Blast in my deck. So the out is Cyclonic Rift, which means I have to draw a number of ways to tutor for it or just draw it outright, and I don't have a lot of time. Fortunately, he plays shit like this in his deck, so I actually get to draw a card this turn instead of countering another threat. I draw Muddle. Perfect timing. So now the game shifts over to, how do I get to 7 mana before he kills me? I draw the Tulare West. So my hand is very nice and defensive here. At least I have a lot of time. I'm not attacking with anything, obviously, because damage doesn't matter and because of haste. He charges again. He makes, or he plays that, and I make a very dumb mistake here. I just sort of instinctively counter it, mainly because I plan to counter other things, and I don't want him getting them back. Plus, I don't really want the extra damage. That's a ring.
A red ring?
Yeah, it's your mom's ring.
It doesn't fit on me.
Of course not, because it's designed for big-sized hands, and you have kid-sized hands. So I crumple this, which I instantly regret. especially because not only is it bad to counter it, because I want the counter, but also I can't use Juicy Apprentice right now, which is terrible, especially because I need to get to 5 mana to use Tezzeret. Smashes me to 24. And just to punish me, my deck coughs up not another land. So I think about...
the window for a little bit.
Actually, I prefer if you wait till I'm done with my video, and then you can, okay? I'll put you up there in just a second, okay?
No, I want to look now.
Desmond's irate. So I thought for a second about really gambling here and drawing a card to see if I could hit another island so that I can just sit on the counter or the Martyr of Frost, but I elect not to do that ultimately because of Cryptic Command. Plus, obviously, the results if he were to get 1 more mana. Actually, I guess he has enough right now. If he were to run out his commander right now, it would be catastrophic, so I can't risk it. As much as I'd like to. He casts something that would have been pretty much just as bad. Steel Hellkite. And this is certainly a Cryptic Command worthy. And I thought about tapping his guy, but I feel the card is more important at this point than the 4 damage, since they're pretty much equivalent. I draw another comes into play tap land. There are 2 in my deck. So I draw Fabricate. I make a really dumb mistake here too that I realized right after I look at this. So the top is Teferi, Gilded Lotus, Felwar Stone. I put Felwar Stone on top with Teferi on the bottom. And the play here was absolutely cast Fabricate to get Soul Ring and put Soul Ring into play. And the Soul Ring runs the Martyr of Frost counter ability. And I don't have to worry about his big guy. And he only has 1 card in hand. And with an additional 5 blue cards in hand, I can pretty much counter anything he does. But I don't do that. I just say go like a retard. I think I don't even wind up countering what he plays on this turn. Yeah, he plays this big stupid guy. So I think for a little while about countering it, and I realized that he doesn't have another mana, so it's not like he can either he can't even utilize the ability if he steals Martyr of Frost. So at this point, I'm resigned to just chump block him with Juicy Apprentice after drawing a card since he's tapped out. So I don't even care about this thing, especially because it gives me an out to his Treachery. And what my hope is that he's greedy and he throws the Lightning Greaves on the Primordial, in which case I can steal the Angel, and I've got a solution to both of them. But that is, because this thing has haste, obviously if it doesn't have haste, he certainly throws Greaves on it and probably leaves them there. But it has haste, so I just let him resolve, especially because I still want to use the Apprentice, and I figure I can always use it if he targets it in response. So he just sends in the team, and draw a card. Alright, I factor Fiction here, recognizing that it's actually, I get to look at more cards, and I know the top of my deck sucks right now anyway, other than probably Gilded Lotus. And I get Karn, Monolith, Felwar Stone, Teferi, Lotus. He gives me a very nice split too. Which hand would you take? The hand with amazing mana ramp and Karn, or a worthless Teferi and a Felwar Stone? So it's a no-brainer. So I just chump block to 6-4, take 5, going to 15. Get my little guy back. Fail to draw a land again, but at this point it's okay. So I run the numbers real quick here. First thing, obviously, steal the 6-4, untap. Play this thing, tap it to cast Fabricate, what I should have done several turns ago. And this time I have to get Mana Crypt, unfortunately, because I didn't draw land. And play Lotus. But looking really strong here now. Got the 2 counters, got this set up next turn. I've got Tezzeret out. Cast Wormcoil Engine. Something I actually strongly consider just putting back on top of his deck with the Hinder instead of, because I mean, obviously I know I can handle this if I'm going to be casting Rift next turn. But I'd rather not deal with it since I'm going to have to, I mean, it's probably better than a random card off the top, so I just let him go to the bottom. Hits me for 4 more. So at this point I'm feeling really confident, although, I mean, I guess with really bad Crypt RNG I could still lose, but I do have Karn as a emergency backup. Luckily I win the flip, which gives me a lot more breathing room. Throw out Tezzeret, untap those 2. I think about this and I realize, you know what, I could just take another 4 damage, or he can attack Tezzeret. He has no cards in his hand. I can counter the next turn, and then I can cycle all this stuff So instead, let's just put down Future Sight. After... No, actually, no, never mind. I guess I do that next turn. I guess I didn't want to screw around. Figuring if he taps out to cast his big guy, I don't even need to counter. I can just Cyclonic Rift during his attack step and put his whole hand back in his hand. Hit him for 1 through his Force Field. So he just plays a land. And he doesn't even cast his commander, which is clearly a mistake, right? I mean, at least force me to use Cyclonic Rift right away instead of giving me luxury of rifting at the end of his turn. Sort of weird. I should be at 8 life. I actually lost the coin flip there. I don't know why it says I'm still at 11, but whatever. Oh, buggy replay. Right on schedule, that's why. Okay, well, I cast Future Sight. There was a copy artifact on top of my deck. I copied the Lotus and flipped Mana Drain, I think, actually. Now the replay is totally confused, but I mean the game was basically over at this point anyway. I played Karn and ate his mountain, and on his turn he cast his Soul Ring. I countered it with Mana Drain off the top. He tapped down to 1 land to cast his Coalition Relic, which I countered from my hand, and I had a Winter Orb sitting on top of my deck from Future Sight. And with this board, he wisely scooped for the victory. Brian Weissman square has won the game. Anyway, cool replay. Need to see a comeback. Always turn 1 Soul Ring. I wish they'd ban it. See you later.